In a dimly lit forest at dusk, a car travels along a narrow road surrounded by dense woods. The occupants tune into a radio broadcast discussing the recent discovery of an asteroid dangerously close to Earth. Harry, seated in the passenger seat, expresses genuine pleasure at having Roy back on their exploration team after a mysterious 4-month absence. Curious about the newly introduced member Mike, Roy begins asking questions to understand his character. After a lengthy drive, the car reaches an open clearing. Roy, with a somber expression, steps out of the vehicle and unfolds his chair, settling down with a thermos in hand. Meanwhile, Mike, seated in the back, struggles to retrieve bulky equipment from the car. Despite his efforts, he can't manage the weight alone. Sensing his struggle, Harry quickly comes to his aid, helping unload the heavy equipment from the back of the car. Together, they overcome the challenge and prepare for their exploration. Once they set up the computerized telescope and computers, they retreat to the car and begin their vigilant monitoring. Hours pass in anticipation until Mike detects a significant signal, prompting him to jot it down. As Mike takes off his headphones, he notices Roy sipping a cup of tea and requests a share. However, Roy's expression turns grim as he informs Mike that it is his last cup. Without another word, Roy exits the car, leaving Mike confused about the hostile energy. Mike asks Harry if he has done something wrong, but Harry assures him that Roy was the same with other people. He suggests that with a little time, they will start getting along. Upon Roy's return, Mike takes the initiative to extend a formal introduction. Eager to establish a connection, he shares details about the remarkable project he has been working on, recording radio frequencies emitted by celestial objects in outer space. Mike hopes that by sharing his passion and the significance of his work, he can forge a bond with Roy and ignite his curiosity. He elaborates on the concept of capturing and interpreting wave transmissions, explaining how this breakthrough technology enables them to construct visual representations of celestial objects, including the vast expanse of the universe itself. Mike acknowledges that while his invention holds immense potential for advancing the study of space, it still has a long journey ahead before reaching its full functional capacity. After a tiring stretch of work, the group falls into a deep slumber, exhausted. However, Mike is abruptly awakened by the familiar sound of a specific frequency that had caught his attention earlier. Determined to share this discovery, he wakes up Harry, urging him to listen to the transmission. To their dismay, the signal seems to have vanished, leaving them puzzled and yearning for its return. Thinking it might be just a pulsar, Harry leaves the car to recalibrate the telescope. While he's gone, Mike records a message to send out to the earlier captured signal. Unaware that Roy is awake and listening, Mike transmits the encoded message. When Harry returns, Roy captures an image of a satellite on his computer, feeling nostalgic as he watches it. The satellite disappears briefly before reappearing, confusing Roy. He explains the situation to Harry, who doesn't believe him, upsetting Roy. In an attempt to calm the tension, Mike dismisses it as just a satellite. Angry at Mike's nonchalant words, Roy speaks harshly, accusing him of taking his job. When Roy leaves the car, Mike asks Harry about Roy's statement. Harry reveals that the satellite they saw, named Goodman, was developed by Roy. He explains that Mike's company acquired Roy's workplace just months before their project deadline, resulting in Roy's termination. Reflecting on their shared history, hearing this, Mike feels sorry for Roy. When Roy returns to the car, he regrets his outburst and offers Mike a cup of tea as an apology. After a few hours, Mike is awakened again by an audio transmission. Listening closely, he realizes that the message he sent earlier is being returned, but it sounds a bit distorted. Confused, he lets Harry and Roy hear the message, but they assume it's a glitch in the equipment or the system. Mike thinks it might be a bounce back, but Roy mentions that the loop of the message is longer than what Mike sent, ruling out a bounce back. To seek confirmation, Mike contacts his office and asks a colleague to verify the frequency of the mysterious transmission, which they believe is a waterhole signal, characterized by a distinct and tranquil sound. Despite the clarity on their end, the person at the office informs Mike that they are not receiving any signal and abruptly ends the call. Roy and Harry go out to assume positions with their antennas, And with the one on the car and the 2 antennas they're holding, they establish 3 sectors to receive the transmissions, giving them a stronger signal. As they expand the triangle formed by their antennas, the transmission becomes clearer, prompting Mike to instruct them to halt and maintain their positions. Suddenly, the frequency sound becomes remarkably distinct, unlike anything they have encountered before. With the antennas precisely positioned at the point of the strongest signal, Harry and Roy make their way back to the car as the equipment starts experiencing disturbances. Mike's computer behaves erratically, leading to a complete power outage. Upon Roy and Harry's return, Mike attempts to reboot his computer, only to discover that the recording he made is missing, resulting in the loss of all their hard work. Disappointed about losing their breakthroughs, Mike sits outside the car for some fresh air. Understanding the feeling of having work ripped away, Roy comes to speak to him, offering words of encouragement. He tells Mike that if they are the only ones receiving the signal, it's their responsibility to make sure the whole world hears it, as it could mean first contact with an extraterrestrial being. In a heartfelt conversation, Mike discloses that the same company that terminated Roy also fired Harry for supporting Roy's project. Understanding the depth of their shared experience, Mike advises Roy to approach his friendship with Harry with compassion and understanding. Grateful for Mike's intervention, Roy expresses sincere gratitude for helping him realize the importance of rekindling his friendship with Harry. Filled with remorse, Roy approaches Harry and inquires about the circumstances surrounding his termination. To Roy's surprise, Harry reveals that he consciously chose to quit instead of being fired because he strongly disagreed with the company mistreating Roy. Harry didn't mention it earlier to spare Roy unnecessary guilt. Overwhelmed by a mix of emotions, Roy offers a heartfelt apology for accidentally causing Harry to lose his job. However, Harry interrupts, emphasizing that he doesn't want to continue working in an environment that failed to recognize and value its employees. Coming up with an idea to track the signal's origin, they utilize Roy's earlier idea about the disappearing satellite. As they observe, the 3 men notice the satellite disappearing and reappearing when its signal interferes with the one being transmitted to them. Thinking of something, Roy asks Mike to run his program again to see the sky map. Even though Mike mentions it doesn't work properly, Roy urges him to try. Running the program, Roy explains that Mike's program worked perfectly, and what they were seeing was another object picked up by the antennas. Seeking a more detailed observation, the group turns to Harry's powerful telescope. As they adjust the telescope's position, their anticipation grows. They are astonished to realize an immense object spanning a vast expanse of space before their eyes. Initially puzzled by the absence of visible stars, they shift the telescope's view slightly to the right, and their amazement reaches new heights as they behold a breathtaking cluster of twinkling lights adorning the enigmatic object like celestial jewels. The sight leaves them in awe, their minds racing with questions and wonder at the extraordinary spectacle unfolding before them. Harry takes a picture of the object for evidence, and Mike is excited to find out that his system works. Suddenly, they receive a message signal in binary code, unable to believe their eyes. They realize the earlier message Mike sent wasn't bouncing back. Instead, they were receiving a whole new broadcast. Determined, Mike dives into decoding the intricate binary code embedded within the signal. As the lines of cryptic data unravel before his eyes, he discovers something extraordinary. A visual message encapsulating essential knowledge about humanity and life on Earth, including intricate details about Earth's biochemical composition and the fundamental blueprint of DNA. As the group meticulously analyzes the decoded message, they make a startling revelation. A subtle but significant difference emerges when comparing the cosmic origin of the DNA formula within the message to the one known by humans. It becomes evident that this profound discovery challenges the conventional understanding of humanity's origins, hinting at a cosmic connection that transcends the boundaries of our earthly existence. The implications of this revelation send shockwaves through the group, igniting a fervor of curiosity and a thirst for further exploration. They find themselves on the precipice of a paradigm-shifting realization, poised to uncover the profound mysteries that lie at the intersection of humanity and the vast cosmos. Suddenly, the devices begin to lose power, causing a wave of panic among the group. Mike, realizing that his hard drive has malfunctioned, is unable to record the crucial information they have just uncovered. The stakes are high, as a complete power outage would result in the loss of everything they have worked so hard to discover. Roy swiftly rushes to unplug all unnecessary devices, leaving only mics running to ensure the preservation of their valuable data. The tension in the air is palpable as they cling to the hope that their efforts will not be in vain and that they can safeguard the groundbreaking knowledge they have acquired. The group only has 18 minutes to successfully retrieve the files before they lose them forever. After rushing to gather their equipment, the group hurries to the station, their only source of power, located there. Roy drives like a madman to get to the station so they can salvage their data. Mike calls his colleague at the station and asks him to prepare a power unit so they can immediately charge the equipment. When they finally make it to the station, they find Mike's colleague Dave waiting for them with the batteries, and they manage to save the data in the nick of time. When they finally come down, Dave informs them that they have discovered the real thing. An official statement was released, stating that tracking stations around the world have identified a craft in lower Earth orbit. Mike gives Dave the files on everything they had discovered, including the binary code. Curiosity brimming in his eyes, Dave asks about the precise moment they initially detected the transmission. As the group shares the time, a look of astonishment overtakes Dave's face. With a mixture of awe and excitement, he reveals that they have achieved something monumental, telling them that they were the first to establish contact. A sense of wonder envelops the group as they gather around, their eyes fixed on the towering antennas. A binary transmission is sent from Earth to the craft with a message that says, "Welcome to Earth." As they watch, the spacecraft descends down to Earth, enveloped in a glowing blue light.